जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय जीवन धन ब्रज बाम हरे, जय जीवन धन।
म्यूट हो गया आपका, यू आर म्यूटेड सोहिनी दीदी।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय जीवन धन ब्रज बाम हरे, संग मन सुख अरु श्री दाम हरे। जय कोटि काम अभिराम हरे, जय कोटि काम अभिराम हरे। रस बरसावत ब्रज धाम हरे, जय कोटि काम अभिराम हरे। रस बरसावत ब्रज धाम हरे, जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय सुषमा शिव ललाम हरे, जय सुषमा शिव ललाम हरे। विधि हरिहर वंदित पाम हरे, विधि हरिहर वंदित पाम हरे। जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय सुषमा शिव ललाम हरे, विधि हरिहर वंदित पाम हरे। जय नंद यशोमति बाम हरे, जय नंद यशोमति बाम हरे। चेरे कृपालु बिनु धाम हरे, चेरे कृपालु बिनु धाम हरे। जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय नंद यशोमति बाम हरे, जय नंद यशोमति बाम हरे। तेरे कृपालु बिनु दाम हरे, तेरे कृपालु बिनु दाम हरे। जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय जीवन धन ब्रज बाम हरे, संग मन सुख अरु श्री दाम हरे। जय कोटि काम अभिराम हरे। रस बरसावत ब्रज धाम हरे। जय सुषमा शिवललाम हरे। विधि हरिहर वंदित काम हरे। जय नंद यशोमति बाम हरे। चेरे कृपालु बिनु दाम हरे। जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे। गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। जय नंदन सुख धाम हरे। गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय।
जय।
बोली श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। लाडली लाल की जय। Welcome everybody to the sixth session, and with the grace of Hari Guru, with the grace of Shri Maharaj Ji, the session is going ahead on every weekend. Only the time has been changed from 8 to 8:30. As you know, Shri Maharaj Ji, Kripalu Ji Maharaj, fifth original Jagat Guru, and his senior Pracharak preacher, Bhaiya Ji, and he is world over renowned, Mukandanand Ji, for his mind management and other preachings all over the world. And he has a substantial structure within India, within USA, and he is motivating millions of souls with the grace of Hari Guru. And his senior instructor, Shri Rajesh Ji, he has given us a total in-depth knowledge for Bhagavatam, which is the highest level of knowledge and full of rus. And that rus, Didi just now Sohani sang also, just now. So Rajesh is taking his time out, and I request all the devotees to let all the devotees know and to take the maximum benefits of this Bhagavatam classes, and then we can request Rajesh ji to further extend into Hindi and other Bhagavad Gita classes, which he does conduct all over the world, as well for JKYOG. The structure of the session will be, first Rajesh ji will give the Bhagavatam, the sixth session related total explanation, then followed by small introduction by the new devotees, which Bhaiya Vikas ji will take over, followed by again Rajesh ji, and Rajesh ji will take over questions and answers for all devotees who would like to have, even existing devotees or new devotees, which is quite useful to get our doubts clarified. I'll encourage everyone, whatever doubts we have or we want to extend our knowledge, speak to Rajesh ji, contact him on his email or his personal phone, which he has given. Thank you and welcome to everybody. Over to Rajesh ji.
Kasturi तिलकं ललाट पटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वर्मौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणं सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपास्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपाल चूड़ामणि वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Reading from Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, Canto 1. We have covered most of the topics. There are 19 topics in Canto 1, which we went through briefly. We will do a recap today, and then we will conclude Canto 1 and then enter Canto 2. So please keep the display on, because the prayers are also all listed and it's good to have them right at the beginning. So in Canto 1, the 19 topics that we went through started with the questions by Shaunakadik Rishis to Suta Goswami, who is like a principal of the university in the Namisaranya region. In Namisaranya, 88,000 rishis are the students of Shaunak Rishi. 88,000 sadhaks are the students of Shaunak Rishi. And Suta Goswami is answering the questions of Shaunak Rishi. And he raises some very pertinent questions about Kali Yuga, which has just started after Sri Krishna completed his Leelas in Dwapar Yuga. And now the problems which are associated with Kali Yuga are manifest. That is what we learned, that Narad Ji spoke to Bhakti Devi, who has been in a very miserable state with her two sons, Gyan and Vairagya. And when she is roaming about the earth in hope of mitigation to her misery, she meets Narad Ji. That is where the Bhagwat Mahapuran begins, and the topics which I am right now talking about are in the Mahatamya. So the first shloka which starts in Bhagwat Mahapuran in Mahatamya is Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwa Utpatti Adi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numa. It's a very important shloka to remember, because here the invocation is about obeisances to Lord Shri Krishna, devotion to his lotus feet. And he is described as the creator, the one who is the cause of all causes. He is the sustainer, that is, he is the maintainer, and he is also the destroyer. So if we worship the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, we can eliminate the three miseries that we are going through. What are the three miseries? The three miseries are Adhyatmik, Adi Daivik, and Adi Bhautik. These are the three tap, three miseries. That is what it says. Tapatraya vinashaya Sri Krishnaya vayam numa. Now, just to do a recap, what are these three miseries? All of us go through these three miseries. The first one is because of our own self. No external agency is involved. Because of our own creation, own carelessness or own involvement, we create miseries. How is it? Let's say the miseries which are related to the body. We know that eating a lot of chilies and a lot of spices can cause problem in the digestion. But we violated that and we ate a lot of chilies. So we created a stomach pain. So how did this misery start? This misery started because of our own carelessness. So this is in the category of adhyatmik tap, adhyatmik dukh. Now there is another category in the same class, which is because of the mind. So you were relaxing on a weekend, but you received a call from someone and the content of the call disturbed you and you remained disturbed for the whole day. Because we got very much affected by the words of the caller. So who created that? You can say, of course, the call came from an external agency, but we had the facility to ignore the words. Or if you want to say that, okay, forget the external agency, sometimes even without any external agency, you can go into a state of depression. Suddenly you started thinking about, oh, I'm not doing so well, my colleagues are doing so well, and you became depressed. There was no external agency. So this is the adhyatmik tap we are suffering from. And the adi bhautik tap is because of the external agency. So like somebody insulted you, so that caused grief to us, we are suffering now. Or because of another living being. For example, we were sitting in the garden and a mosquito bit us. And because of that, we got inflicted by dengue fever. So now we are suffering from dengue fever because of the bite of another jiva, another living being. So this is called adi bhautik. And then there is adi daivik. Adi daivik miseries we suffer when there is an earthquake, when there is a drought, when there is a flood, when there is heat stroke. So all those natural calamities, tsunami, etc., we become so miserable, they are called adi daivik miseries. So this is what in the Mahatamya we read, that Sri Krishna is so glorious and his bhakti is so glorious that by worshipping Sri Krishna, we can remove these three miseries. So Bhakti Devi said, Utpanna Dravide Saham Riddhim Karnatake Gata Kvachit Maharashtre Gurjare Jirnatam Gata. I was born in Dravid Desh, which is the modern Tamil Nadu. I grew up in Karnataka, and in some places in Maharashtra, I was honored. But when I went to Gujarat, I was in the midst of Pakhandi Brahmins, the ones who are just showing off. They are not doing what Brahmins should do. And under that, in their influence, I was very much disturbed. And I have become lackluster. I have become very weak. And these are my two sons who are the Gyan and Vairagya. So they were lying in a very weak and lackluster form. And Naradji is conversing with them. And Naradji went through all the different methods to mitigate the suffering. But finally, by the grace of Sanakadik Rishis, it was told to Naradji that the only remedy for this misery is listening to Bhagwat Katha. So Naradji arranged the Bhagwat Katha by Sanakadik Rishis, and then Sanakadik Rishi said, this is the real solution. But Naradji had his own doubts. He said, I am told that Bhagavad Katha is the essence of all the Vedas. So Vedas are very profound and very esoteric and so much of very deep knowledge. So they will not be able to the summary of the Vedas is Bhagavad, and how is it possible to mitigate the suffering by reading the summary of Vedas? Because Vedas had failed to revive the Jnana and Vairagya and Bhakti. Then Naraji is God realized he has all the knowledge, but he is asking questions on our behalf. Because we saw that the use of Vedic mantras and Bhagavad Gita mantras did not revive Bhakti and the two sons. Then Sankadik Rishis explained, it is like a tree. Though the tree has all the ingredients and the qualities, but only when you eat the fruit, you get the essence of the tree. So the fruit is the most important part of the tree, wherein you receive the essence. Similarly, Bhagavad Katha is that essence of the Vedas. And it was made very clear that the only solution for the Jeev is to be engaged in Bhagavad Katha and Bhakti of Sri Krishna. So Bhakti of Sri Krishna is very well facilitated by hearing Bhagavad Katha. So this is what we learned in the Mahatamya, and how the mitigation of Dhundukari took place. Dhundukari had gone into the ghost species, but he also got revived. And then we also learnt about the story of Leela Shuk, how Shivji narrated the story to Parvati ji. So in the Mahatamya, we have learnt the glories of reading Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, and we learnt just reading a mantra of Bhagavad Mahapuran is equivalent to going to millions of tirthatan. People go to the pilgrimage places to get spiritual benefits. But here we learned that reading attentively one mantra of Bhagavad is equivalent to going to millions of pilgrimages. So it is so astounding, a granth that we are reading. So now we will go into the first canto. If you can display the chapters, please. Then we will go into the previous. Okay, so fine. The canto 1, I let it be. I will just say briefly what we studied in canto 1. In canto 1, we first learned about the 6 questions by the sages. That what is the essence of all the scriptures? Why did Shri Krishna take birth in the womb of Devaki Mata? And why? What is the place of the dharma now that Shri Krishna has left the earthly abode? So all these questions were answered. We may not repeat, but just to recall. Then we also learnt about how Ashwathama killed the growing baby, which was Parikshit, and how he was revived. We learnt about Mother Kunti's prayers. We learnt about Bhishma Pitama, how he left his body after giving the discourse on Varnashram Dharma. But after giving all the talk on Varnashram Dharma, he said that the greatest dharma is to worship Sri Krishna. Then Parikshit Maharaj was born. And he became a very famous, very popular, very powerful king, who was also a devotee. And his samrajya, his kingdom was established everywhere. He did so many Digvijay Yajnas. But the time changed. The Dwapar Yuga turned into Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga, the Dharma takes the beating, and now the Dharma is standing only on one leg. The strength of the 3 legs is lost. So we learned about the conversation between Dharma, which is represented by the bull, and the cow, which is representing the dhara, the earth. But Dharma did not blame anyone. Dharma said, this is a point which needs to be understood. We cannot blame that this happened because of this or this happened because of the age. Actually, there is this law of karma, the law of God, which is the cause for all the reasons. And then Parikshit Maharaj sees a ferocious looking Shudra king beating the bull, and that was Kali personified. Kali demanded a place to stay. 4 places were offered to him. The place of the prostitutes, the place of gambling, the place of intoxication, and the slaughterhouses. Kali said, these places don't exist in your kingdom. So give me another place. So the gold was given to Kali to reside. So Parikshit Maharaj himself is wearing a gold, crown, and the Kali entered Parikshit Maharaj's golden crown, and that is how Parikshit Maharaj got affected. In his carelessness, he put the snake on the dead snake on the neck of Shringi Rishi, Shamik Rishi, and his son Shringi Rishi cursed him, and then he sat on the Anshan. But this was for listening to the Bhagwat Katha, which was brought about by Shukdev Goswami. So all personalities assembled, all the sages assembled. Later we will learn Sri Krishna also appeared there. Veda Vyas was there. All the rishis were there. And this 7 days Katha went on. And at the end of the Katha, Parikshit Maharaj was burnt by the fire of the poison caused by Takshak Nag. And that is the point where we move into the second canto. So when Parikshit Maharaj was sitting in the dying moments, he raised so many questions. One of the questions was, what should a dying man do? What is it a person should do throughout the life, and what is it he should do at the time of death? And the answer was singular, that the best way to leave the body is to be in the remembrance of the Lord. And even during the life, we should always remember God. That is the Yug Dharma. That is how we have to deal with life in Kali Yuga. So this is the message of Parikshit Maharaj. And we just concluded the glimpse of the first canto. Now, if we go into the second canto, we will learn about the process of meditation and cosmic form of Lord. So, having learned that whatever we are contemplating at the time of death, that is what we will become in the next life. Bhagavad Gita also says, Yam yam vapi asmaran bhava tyajan yante kalevaram. To receive a body according to the thoughts that you had at the time of death. So this was amply proven in the story of King Bharat. King Bharat was a great king. He renounced everything. He became a recluse. But even while in the forest and in the serene atmosphere, he got attached to the baby deer. And because of that attachment, he became a deer in his next life. So that story we will read in detail in the coming days. But for today, let us remember this point, that contemplation at the end of our life is very important to get the highest position. Now somebody may say, let me do everything else throughout the life, and at the end of the life, I'll just remember Shri Krishna. So this will not happen. As the scriptures say, and it is logical also, that only when we have practiced remembering Sri Krishna at the end of our life also, we will be able to remember. That is why Krishna Bhakti is so essential. Also, Krishna is so kind that if he has noted that we have the intention of worshipping Sri Krishna, so even at the time of death, there is a little bit of carelessness, he will ensure that we remember Sri Krishna. That is the advantage of Krishna Bhakti, and the best way is to learn Krishna Bhakti is to soak our mind and heart in Bhagwat Katha, which is what we are doing through the 18,000 shlokas of Bhagwat Mahapuran. So this is the process of meditation. Whatever we are doing, we are remembering Sri Krishna. And when we say we are remembering Sri Krishna, you don't only have to remember the form of Sri Krishna. If you are remembering Radharani Ji, our Supreme Mother, if you are remembering Lord Sri Ram, if you are remembering Lord Sri Narsingha, all the forms of Sri Krishna, all the names of Sri Krishna, all the abodes of Sri Krishna, all the qualities of Sri Krishna is Sri Krishna himself. Naam, Roop, Lila, Gun, Dham. So we can keep changing. So morning we are making coffee and making breakfast. We are remembering some stories of Sri Krishna. Oh, he said that I am there everywhere, and it was proved in the story of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, is your Krishna there in the pillar? And his son Prahlad said, he is very much there. He said, let me see. He hit the pillar with the mace, and Lord appeared in the form of Narsingha Bhagwan. So, Shri Krishna is there in every particle of the universe. This can be our contemplation while we are making our breakfast. We are cleaning our utensils and remembering story of Sudama or a story of Kubja. Then we are getting ready. We are taking a shower. We are in a bath, and we are remembering Shri Krishna. We are remembering the Leela Shri Krishna had with the gopis. Then it is time to go to the office. We are sitting in the tube, or we are sitting in a bus, or we are driving the car, and our audio is giving us the knowledge of Shri Krishna. This is what Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yadjuhosi dadasi yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam, in the 9th chapter. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever yajnas you do, whatever projects you undertake, keep me in the remembrance. And it is very much possible to keep Sri Krishna in the remembrance, God in the remembrance, the devotees in the remembrance while we are doing our work. This is what we do. When we are very much attached to our child, the mother is very much attached to the newborn child, because the newborn child needs mother's attention 100%. But the mother has to go to the office. She is doing the work in the office, but has she forgotten the child? She has not forgotten the child. The love is there for the child, and she just wants to finish her work and come back home urgently and immediately. In fact, her work becomes even superior. She wants to do the work very efficiently, very quickly, so that she can finish her work without any hassles, and then she can come home. So at the back of the mind, we can always remember Shri Krishna no matter what we are doing. This is called the sadhana of Karma Yoga. And what is the sadhana of Karma Sannyas? Every day, 10-15 minutes in the morning and 10-15 minutes in the evening, we do not do anything other than contemplation of Sri Krishna. That is the sadhana in isolation, where we are shut off from all corners and we are just doing sadhana of the Lord. This is called Karma Sannyas meditation. The rest of the time we are doing Karma Yoga meditation. So this is very easy for a devotee to do. But what about somebody who doesn't believe in Sri Krishna? Hey, what you are saying that a small child lifted the mountain, why you are making him a fool like this? Most of us don't have that kind of a faith. So in the first chapter, Bhagavad teaches that those people can consider the entire universe as the body of Sri Krishna. So his chest is like the Himalayas, the mountain. The hair is like the forest. Every limb of the Lord is described in this chapter. You can go through your copy of Bhagavatam and read in detail. This is how a beginner can meditate. When he sees the mountain, he thinks of the Lord in a cosmic form. The second chapter is about concentration on the gross and subtle form of Lord. So this is about how we can depart from the world. So leave the body. So there is a Kram Mukti, which is gradual liberation. And then there is a Sadhyo Mukti, which is immediate liberation. And then the third chapter is saying that you can worship different devatas to get different benedictions. Some people say, I don't believe you. I don't want to do bhakti of Sri Krishna and become detached from the world. I want material goods, and they insist that is very important for me. So if you read the second canto, the third chapter, what you can obtain by worshipping different devatas is described in the third chapter. If you want long life, worship Ashwini Kumar. If you want honor, you worship the Mother Earth and the sky. If you want beauty, worship Gandharvas. If you want a spouse, a wife, worship Urvashi. If you want to become a leader, a lord, you worship Brahma. If you want great fame, you worship Yagya Purus. You want lots of wealth, you worship Varun. You want education, you worship Lord Shankar. And if you want great understanding between wife and husband, worship Parvati ji. If you want to earn dharma, worship Lord Vishnu. If you want to protect your ancestry lineage, worship Pitar. If you want to remain away from all the obstacles, worship Yaksha. And if you want to become a strong, worship Marudgan. There is a detailed account of worshipping different devatas, different forms of God to get material benefits. But at the end, it is said, Eta akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradihi tibrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. But whether you have material desires, or whether you have only a spiritual desires, or whether you have a mixture of material desires and spiritual desires, and whether you have no desires of material or spiritual, you want liberation, everything is possible to get by worshipping Sri Krishna. This is an amazing knowledge, because some of us may say, I have gotten rid of 90 out of 100 desires, but those 10 desires are still there with me. Sri Krishna will fulfill that also. This is the promise of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Mahapuran. Now, we learn about the glories of bhakti and as the superiority of bhakti. And then Parikshit Maharaj asked question about the creation. So I have a bad throat, so please bear with me. So he talks about the creation. How did the creation take place? And we gave a glimpse of the creation in the previous class, that Sri Krishna is seated in the spiritual sky, which is 3/4, material sky is 1/4. So in the spiritual sky, Sri Krishna is the entity through which everything else has happened. So Sri Krishna will transform into Mahavishnu through Chaturvyu and through Narayana. So what are the Chaturvyu? Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev. These are the four forms of Sri Krishna who facilitate the transformation into Mahavishnu and Narayan. So Mahavishnu, we all know, is seated in the causal ocean. It is called Karan Samudra. And in the causal ocean, which is also called Karanodak, Mahavishnu transforms himself into Garbhodak Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, which is called the Karnodak ocean, which is called the Garbhodak ocean. So when the second Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, also called Narayan, he manifests, from his perspiration, the universe gets filled with water on the lower half. And in the upper half, the creation comes through the lotus coming from his navel, in which there are 14 different planets. Lower planets, Atal, Vital, Sutal, Rasatal, Patal, Talatal, etc. And upper lok, Bhulok, Bhuvalok, Swalok, Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok. These are the 14 lokas. And each loka is bigger than the earlier one. It has so many different qualities. So this is in the center of the universe. Now we can think about the Bhulok. In the Bhulok, there is Jambudvip. So Jambudvip has got 9 Varshas. Bharatvarsh, Bhadrashva Varsh, then the Hemavati, Hima Varsha, different Varsha. Kim Purush Varsha. Kim Purush Varsha is the Varsha in which the worshipable deity is Hanumanji. So if you look at the map of the Bharat, if you look at the map of the Jambudvip, there are 9 sections. And the lowest in the south is Bharat Varsha, and above Bharat Varsha is Kim Purush Varsha, and between Bharat Varsha and Kim Purush Varsha is the Himavat mountain or the Himalaya mountain. Now this is not the Himalaya mountain on the earth. This is much bigger. So in that Bharat Varsha, there is a Bharat Khand. And in that Bharat Khand, we are currently situated. You are in UK, some people are in US, some are in India, I am in Singapore. So this is Bharat Khand. So you learnt about Jambudvip, the Bhulok, different lokas. But Jambudvip is not the only dvip in the Bhulok. After Jambudvip, there is an ocean of salt. And after that, there is another dvip. What is the meaning of dvip? Dvip means two, apa means water. A tract of land which is surrounded by water is called dvip. So we have different dvip which keeps growing in size. Shalmali dvip, Shaka dvip, Pushkar dvip, Ranch dvip, and different dvip have different characteristics. They were made by King Priyavrat, who is the son of Manu. Brahmaji's son is Manu, and Manu's son is Priyavrat and Uttanpad. And Manu has 3 daughters also, Akuti, Devhuti, and Prasuti. So Priyavrat is the king who was so powerful that he almost had the power of God. So he saw that why is it that a part of the earth remains under darkness? Only half of the earth is lighted, half is dark. He did not like it. So he had so much of power, he made himself into 2. So as Priyavrat the king, he was looking after the entire Bhulok. And as Priyavrat the sun god, he made himself another sun. So the main sun god is moving on Pushkar Dvip on the Mount Manasottar on a chariot, and sun is revolving in an orbit. Unlike the theory where we say earth rotates around the sun, Bhagwat says the sun rotates on top of the earth, on the top of the Bhulok, and that is how the day and night and the weather, etc. takes place. And the sun also has another movement which makes it get lifted from the bottom to the top, that is from Uttarayan, Dakshinayan to Uttarayan. So there are 2 movements of the sun, and the constellation, the 27 nakshatras and the 12 rashis are all described, which we will show some diagram to you to understand. So this is a little glimpse about the cosmos. And then the glories of cosmic being, who are the residents of these different locations in the cosmos. And then one chapter is about the Leelavatar, the different Leelas the Lord performed. Like the Lord came as Prithu Avatar. So as Prithu Avatar, he flattened the land. And he had a great interaction with Mother Earth. That we will learn later. As Narsingh Bhagwan, which we just mentioned, he came only to protect his devotee Prahlad because his father Hiranyakashipu had obtained a vardhan from Brahmaji that he can neither be killed in the day or in the night or outside or inside by the weapons or by humans or animals. All kind of conditions he had put. But can you beat the Lord in smartness? Lord is smarter. He came in a form, he fulfilled all the boons Brahmaji had given Hiranyakashipu, and he used his nails to tear his stomach and he killed Hiranyakashipu. He was so angry that he took out the intestine from his stomach and put it on his neck. This frightened all the denizens of the universe, all the devatas and all the forms of God, and nobody was prepared to go near Narsingha Bhagwan. Finally, Prahaladji went and he pacified Lord Narsingh. So this is the Leela avatar of Lord, which is what is described in the 7th chapter. The 8th chapter, King Parikshit raises many more questions. And in the 9th chapter, Lord Brahma visits Vaikuntha Lok. Vaikuntha means there is no kuntha, there is no misery, there is no pain, there is no suffering. And then the 10 topics of Bhagavad, which are Sarga, Visarga, Uti, Manvantar, Ishanu Katha, Ashray, Nirod, etc. are covered. So I think we are 45 minutes in our session. So possibly this is the time to open up and invite feedback and any comments from the participants, and those who are new can also give their introduction. So over to Vikasji.
Sure. I would like to request, let me see the list. Smitaji, would like to introduce yourself. Can
So
you
those
unmute?
just I wanted to say, those who are new, who want to introduce themselves, and those who want to raise a question or have some feedback, you can raise your hand using the Zoom application, and Vikasji will facilitate the session. So while other participants are raising their hands, let us Ranjan Samalji says, thank you, Rajeshji, for the session. Thank you, Ranjanji. You are welcome to come online and also say something. But let us first hear from Surenderji. Malik Bhaiya.
Right. Thank you, Rajesh. Before I get started, could I request a few new devotees who have come on? Ashokji, Radhaji, Ranjan Samalji, Shraddha Didiji, and Smita Didiji. Shraddha Didiji, I think she met us other day on the Sankirtan class, but kindly put your video on, and then because we can take your introduction one at a time. And Rajesh, I'll be thankful if you can clarify. I always have this question. Like you have clarified, whatever we have had contemplation throughout the life and at the time of death, that's what we will get.
Yes, sir.
Now, question was that we are attached to Jad and Chetan. Chetan means I could be attached to my children, family, and Jad is like all the material things. My question was related with Chetan. So if I am attached to my son, for example, will I get born along with him wherever he goes? That particular soul?
Yeah, the simple answer is, if you are attached to your son, you will come back to him. You will be born as either his grandson or his friend, depending on your level of attachment. You will be born. If you have other qualifications also. I mean, first, of course, we have to have the qualification that we are eligible to get a human body. So suppose I am attached to my son and I get a human body. So for sure, I will come as an attachment, as a grandson to my son or as a son to my son, depending on the situation, the time frame, etc. You are absolutely right. And there have been many cases like that. There's a very interesting story from the Leelas of Narad ji and Angiras ji. These are the two great sages. They were once going into a market, and there was a kirana ki dukan, there was a grocery shop, in which one goat used to would come in and want to sit down in the shop, but the shopkeeper will take a stick and beat the goat and drive him out. So couple of times the goat tried to come and sit in the shop, and the shopkeeper beat him badly and threw him out. And Naradji and Angirashji, they were both, they were both going into the market. So Naradji started laughing very loudly. So Angirashji said, "You are looking at the beating of this goat and laughing. Why you are being so cruel, Naradji?" So Naradji said, "I'm seeing the previous life of this goat. This goat is the father of this shopkeeper, and he's so much attached to the shop that he wants to come and sit there. But the son doesn't know that this is my father and he's beating him." So there are many, many stories which will validate the point. Whatever we are attached to, we will either become that or come close to that. You talked about Jar and Chetan. So suppose we are very much attached to the food. We are obsessed with food. Then it is very much possible that we will get the body of a pig, which is always eating and eating everything. So nobody knows the exact, the secrets, but the hints are there very much that this is what happens. And this is very logical. You become what you think, mind your, watch your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Watch your words, because your words become your actions. Watch your actions, because your actions become your habits. Watch your habits, because your habits become your characteristics and your character. And watch your character, because your character becomes your destiny. So this is very logical, and thanks for raising this very important question, which will benefit all of us.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Please.
I would like to introduce Ashok ji. Ashok ji, can you unmute yourself? Ashok ji?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, can you put your video on also?
Yes.
Radhe
Hello.
Radhe, Ashok ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Would you like to share something? कुछ कहना चाहेंगे आप?
नहीं, बस बहुत बढ़िया है. It's very nice, interesting subject. I like to hear more about Vedant. So yeah.
So this is Vedant. Vedant is
Yeah.
the essence of Vedas, which
Yes,
is also
yes.
called Brahma Sutra. And when we read Bhagwat Mahapuran, it gives us all different essence from the summary of the Vedas. So
Okay.
constant
That's
reading of Bhagwat Mahapuran will satiate your curiosity. So you are calling from which place, Ashok ji?
I am in London. Yeah.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now I would request Shraddha ji, can you unmute and on your video?
So switching on the video is optional. If you are not comfortable, you can remain anonymous. But if you switch on, it would always be preferred. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Please go ahead, Shraddha ji.
So you can introduce yourself, yeah.
Something.
Radha ji.
कुछ इंटरनेट में कुछ हुआ. Let us go.
No, it's fine, I think.
Yes, Shraddha ji. Your voice.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
To all
Radhe
of
Radhe.
you. Today I heard the lesson with my son. He has some question he want to ask.
Yes,
Can
please. पूछिए.
If we want to stay in our religion, then who do we have to talk to?
Can you just repeat, Shraddha ji?
If he has question in one topic, you told that if you want to something like you have to pray this god, this god, this god. On that topic, he came to me and asked, Mama, if we want in our religion, if we want to pray,
stay in our religion, who do we have to talk to?
whom we need to talk to, whom we need to worship if we want to stay in Hindu religion. So actually, I started this lesson to teach my kids to introduce what we are, what our religion says. So
Yeah. Okay. So these words are a little subtle. Religion is more like a branch, but spirituality is the common thread in all religions. For example, let us take Islam, the religion which Muslims worship, they follow. So what is the essence of Islam? Ma khalaqtal ins wa jin illa la abdun. God made you so that you can do worship of God. So the methods in religion may be different, but the final message is the same. If you take Buddhism, Buddha says, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Go into the shelter of Buddha, go into the shelter of Dharma. So there also he is talking about devotion and shelter. The Holy Bible says in the first and foremost commandment, thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart, with all thy might, and with all thy soul. That is also devotion. And our Sanatan Dharma, Bhakti Dharma is full of this message. So in all religion, the essence is the same, the meaning is the same, the forms are different. It is like you have cows of different colors, but the essence is milk. You have a garden of different flowers, but the essence is beauty and fragrance. So we shouldn't get caught in the religion so much. We should seek the answers to the spiritual questions. And there cannot be a greater opportunity to do that when we come for a Bhagavad Gita session or a Bhagavad Mahapuran session. So this is a little answer to the question raised by your lovely son. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name? What's your name?
Ansh.
Ansh.
Thank you.
Well done, Betty. You have done
Thank
well. And
Wonderful,
you
Ansh. Radhe Radhe, Ansh.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Next, I would like to invite
Radhe.
Smita ji. Can you unmute yourself, Smita ji?
Namaste. Today, I just attended for the first time, and there was some audio issues as well, so I couldn't listen to the complete session. So, I wanted to ask if I can get the recordings for the previous sessions as well, and I would like to attend it on a regular basis. So,
Sure, Smita
I
ji,
am based
recording is
in-
there. Yeah,
yeah.
recording is there. So I will provide you the link.
Thank you. So, I am based in Halifax in UK.
Right.
So Vikas
Very
ji
good.
and the team have created a YouTube group, a WhatsApp group, and YouTube group in WhatsApp group rather, in which all the recordings are available, and you will
Okay.
be able to watch all the previous 6 recordings or 5 recordings, and today's recording will also be put there. But would you have any feedback or question on today's session?
It's very informative. Yeah, I also wanted to ask, which book would you suggest if I want to read about it as well, along with
I have, right. So I have different versions with me, but the one which I follow the most is this one, Bhagwat Mahapuran, and I'm more comfortable in reading Hindi because Hindi is my mother tongue, and
Right.
I'm more familiar with Hindi, and also I feel the translation in Hindi is much better, so
I'll also prefer Hindi then, but which version?
yeah. So this is the book which I'm holding in my hand. You can get a copy. This is from Gita Press, Gorakhpur. Vikas ji will be able
Yes.
to. We will put the link in the WhatsApp group, and
Sure.
you can order
Even
online.
you can get the PDF copy online if you want.
And
Yeah.
PDF copy is available on internet. विकास जी जरा
Okay.
उसका लिंक डाल
Yes.
दीजिए.
Yeah, I can provide that.
इंग्लिश और
Ji,
हिंदी
thank
दोनों
you.
का.
Yeah, I can do
Please. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Next, Rajiv ji, you would like to introduce?
राजीव जी अनम्यूट कीजिए.
Hello everyone, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Rajiv ji.
I'm based in Portisbar, Hertfordshire, and thank you so much for these efforts. These are really good to keep us on the ground and stay us focused, actually. So thank you so much, everyone.
So wonderful for your kind words.
I will request all the devotees, new and old, to circulate this the Zoom link that is going to be taking place every Saturday. So more and more souls can get the benefit of that. So kindly circulate in your WhatsApp groups, in your local temples, in your network, and that will be very useful, and Lord becomes very happy on the devotee, which spreads their message. Thank you. Over to the JC.
Last, Aradhya, do you have any question? Aradhya? I think he's unable to. So, yeah, Aradhya there.
No, I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Radhe. Yes, over to you, Rajesh ji.
Yeah, so if anybody still has some points, if they remember, please feel free to raise your hand and come online. Even the regular devotees who know the subject, they can ask some questions on behalf of others, because sometimes the newcomers are hesitant. But the old devotees, they know the answer, but they can ask just for a recap. So always we have to clear our doubts, because there are so many doubts we have.
Okay,
Whether
so
we should.
Aparna, can you unmute and then ask the question?
Yes, Radha Radha Bhaiya, Radha Radha to everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
I just want to pass my gratitude and thanks to Rajesh Bhaiya, because today's session was so informative and it was so interesting, which when the questions commonly arise in everybody nowadays. And the session was so impactful, so informative. I think it's getting more interesting each session, and hopefully we will have more informative sessions as well on moving forward, so that we can use it in our daily life, which will also resolve all our queries and the problems that we have in our daily lives. Thank you so much, Rajesh Bhaiya, for your efforts and for all these beautiful examples and the informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have always been very generous in your comments and words, and that is really very encouraging. And yes, we get what we deserve. That is the saying. If we deserve the nectar has to knock on our door. So if we develop the interest in our heart, Lord will make it happen. And that is the rule, and that is so incredibly true. Like they say, इतनी शिद्दत से हमने उनसे मोहब्बत की है कि हर जर्रे ने मुझे उनसे मिलाने की साजिश की है. This was in the movie also, but that's exactly what happens. The entire cosmos conspires to make our desires come true, if the desires are genuine and intense. So Bhagavad Mahapuran, we are reading the most important, the Granth, and we are so fortunate. It is like intoxication. Once we get intoxicated by the rasa of Bhagavad, nothing will appear more blissful than that. And we would like to remain soaked in the rasa of Bhagavad every moment in our life. And look at the beauty that just by reading the stories, we become so happy and so joyful, and we get answers to all our questions. And all the problems in our life get answered and mitigated. Isn't this a miracle? For me, this is a miracle, and the miracles keep multiplying on a given day. So I always say, unless we have converted the theoretical knowledge into practical, what is the use of learning? And I take 2 classes on Bhagavad Gita and 3 classes on Bhagavad Mahapuran every week. And this is my finding, that now I say there is no question which Bhagavad Gita does not answer. I was astounded when I learned about food from Bhagavad Gita. Just in 3 shlokas, Shri Krishna talks everything about the food. Just in few shlokas, Shri Krishna talks everything about work-life balance. Just in few shlokas, Shri Krishna talks everything about anger. Just in few shlokas, Shri Krishna talks everything about the austerity, like how our mind should be, how our words should be. That means Shri Krishna is giving the biggest lecture on word, on the speech management, on the how we should talk. For example, I'll give the quote. Bhagavad Gita in the 17th chapter, the shloka is Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasnam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. You want to make your speech the perfect? A speech the perfect? Because Maharaji used to say, half of the problem in the world is because of the words, because of our carelessness with the speech. So look at this Bhagavad Gita shlok. Anudvega karam vakyam. You should speak words which does not agitate the listener. Satyam. There should be truth in what you say. Priya. It should please the listener. Hitam. It should be beneficial to the listener. And Swadhyaya Abhyasnam Chaiva. Now this beautiful instrument is given, we can recite. So it is given to recite the shlokas from Bhagavad, shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, and sing the bhajans. So I haven't heard anything as beautiful about a speech. And I don't think even if we go to Harvard or Oxford, we will listen more about a speech. This is my experience. I studied engineering, I studied business management, and whatever theories I learned in business management, they compare nowhere the tenets and concepts in Bhagavad Gita. So I really thank you for bringing this point very well, Aparna ji.
Yeah, Sheila ji, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Bhaiya. My question was, मेरा question था कि Maharaj ji always says, if you keep on doing your bhakti and sadhana properly, then at least you can attain human life. But how much of bhakti and sadhana? And because, like as the story you just said, that the father was born as a goat. So that was due to his attachment to the son. But of course, it must be due to his deeds as well, because he became a goat instead of a human birth. So what is absolutely necessary that each one of us should do? Because Maharaj ji says, bhakti in this life is definitely carried on in bhakti in the next life. So I'd like to have an answer to that question, please, Bhaiya Rajesh ji.
Alas, there was an easy answer to this. Kitni bhakti hame karni chahiye? A bada subjective question hai. You know, we should our birth, our human appearance is to do bhakti. So bhakti should be 100%. You know, so we all, our target is there that हमें भक्ति ही करनी है. मेरा जन्म सिर्फ भक्ति करने के लिए ही हुआ है. और अगर हम इस बात को मानकर चलते हैं, so everything else will happen automatically. So if you are the top devotee, you cannot but be the top mother. You cannot but be the top employee. You cannot but be the top employer. You cannot but be the top expert in your field. The bhakti is so pure, the Lord's energy is flowing from within us. You know, so when we surrender to the Lord takes over. Yasmat yat ratireva, you know, that very beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita says that tasya karyam na vidyate. You must have heard this shloka in Bhagavad Gita. when you do bhakti of Shri Krishna, and when you get absorbed in that bhakti, Shri Krishna takes over. Then he becomes the doer of your work. So we have to reach that stage. But a good sadhak will not worry about the progress. He will only worry about, did I do the minimum that I decided to do? So this is very individualistic, depending on our past karma. Somebody has started his new life at 95%. I may have started my life at 5%. So it's very subjective. But having come to know that bhakti is the main goal, सौ बातन की बात एक धरु मुरलीधर ध्यान राधे राधे सौ ज्ञानन बरहवहु सेवा वासना सौ ज्ञानन की ज्ञान राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे जय राधे Jaya Krishna. So when I am singing this kirtan, I am doing bhakti. And how genuinely I love Sri Maharaj Ji and Sri Krishna, only Sri Krishna and Sri Maharaj Ji will know.
No.
I may pretend that I love, but I cannot fool the divinity. So it is such an internal sentiment, but the words, "Sau baatan ki baat ek, barav harahu muralidhar dhyan." Out of 100 pieces of knowledge, the greatest piece of knowledge is to keep the Muralidhar, the player of the Banshi, in our mind all the time. And Baravahu Seva Vasana. And every moment we are trying to serve Sri Krishna as much as we can do. Oh, this lemon tea I'm going to make, let me make it so nice that Sri Krishna will say, wow, Shilaji, you made such a nice lemon tea. So every moment we have to do that, Shilaji. You know the answer, but you are asking on behalf of others, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, for the new for the new people, but yeah.
Thank you, Silaji.
And also for myself as well, of course. It's always good to know, always good to have that in the head.
Shilaji, I asked that question from Maharajji directly. That question.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll send you the recording.
Oh, thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. That'd be really good.
It's on the YouTube, but I'm going to send to you that particular recording. And what basic was what Bhaiyaji has said, just focus on the mark because you have the right guru, right mark. Don't worry about anything. Just follow his instructions and continue on that steadfast. And that it will get you to your destination. Don't worry at all. Leave the worries on the side. Thank you, Devi. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. Very good.
So any comment from your side? Are you in mute?
No, really thoroughly enjoying these. I will think up of questions for to benefit the new sadhaks. Yeah, one thing, Rajeshji, if you could suggest, for new sadhaks and for people, I often think about people who don't do any bhakti at all, and I feel they're missing out so much in life. What would you suggest? Not just any other people, even I've seen family who are not interested in anything spiritual.
Yeah, so this is very well described in Bhagwat Gita. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashu sutve vachyam na cha mam yobhya suyati. 18 chapter 67, Sri Krishna says, those who don't exhibit the tendency of devotion those who are not austere in their discipline, don't try to bring them into it. You just be an example. They will observe, and if they want to come in, they will come in. Only those who you see having some potential, that also very cautiously you can approach. Because I used to make that mistake, and in my enthusiasm, I, created more problems from me. So we have to be very cautious. The best thinking, in my opinion, is to concentrate on oneself. Because if we become epitome of devotion, then that aura will emanate and people will automatically get attracted. We don't have to worry about others. That part the Lord will take care. So that is the general kind of answer. So Shri Maharaji will always say, Bhakti is very rare. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 3rd shloka, Manushya nam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Out of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, one person will want to become a perfect person. And out of those thousands and thousands and thousands, only one will come to know Shri Krishna. So it is very rare that anybody will come for bhakti. You ask someone, hey, today there is a kitty party and today we'll have a nice drinking session, and so many people will congratulate you and they will just, say, I'm just landing up in your place. You say, let us go for a movie. So many people will want to come in. But when you ask someone to come for a bhakti class, very few people. So this is the nature of the world we have to accept. So where we see there is a potential, we should render our service. Where we see it is going to backfire, we should remain very alert. Second thing is, today we may feel this person is nowhere. He is very much into the world. But there is no guarantee that after 1 year, he may become a better devotee than me. All these miracles are possible in the world of God. So we have to be very cautious in judging others. So concentration on oneself is my learning, and this is what I try to also follow. But thank you so much for this question, because this will really help many, many people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hemaji, you have any?
The classes for me are getting better and better. And reviewing the recordings on YouTube as well, I'm finding very beneficial, and applying bits and pieces in everyday life, whether it be at home, at work, with family and social. Rajashri, I love the examples that you are giving and providing us with, because I'm able to physically and practically apply, and you feel the change and you notice the change from the feedback that you get from everyday people that are in your life. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your kind words. And for example, by the inspiration of Swami Mukundanandji, I developed this formula 44, and it's been such a great help for a person like me. Because I'm very lazy and careless by nature. So at least I have some targets that I have to do Surya Namaskar, I have to eat almonds, and I have to eat a plate of salads before lunch. And those things have made such a, impact in my life. There is no doubt about the fact. Today I'm able to talk, even though I am having a bad throat, but it is not affecting me, because I was inspired to make the concoction of ginger, turmeric, lemon, pepper.
Yes.
And I kept sipping that, and it has proved to be magical. Before learning Bhagavad Gita and these faith in the words of Bhagavad Gita, I would have never drunk concoction of turmeric and ginger and all. So this is the magic it does. So Bhagavad Gita is the Yoga Shastra. It makes you a practical person to take the bull by the horn in all situations.
Thank you, Silaji. Thank you, Rajesh ji, for the wonderful words on today's session. I think we are on time, so I hand over to you and then Malik Bhaiya.
Thank you, Rajesh. We are extremely thankful for your time and valuable advice, which is very, very practical day-to-day life, which we are running. We are extremely thankful for your time and hope you will for the continued support from you. And we'll try to extend for further classes also. Thank you to all the devotees and Radha Radha to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Radha Radha.
Radhe Radhe.
हिम्मत सदगुरु सरकार
सरकार
की
की जय।
हिम्मत युगल सरकार की
जय।
जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे